The scale of sexual harassment faced by female paramedics in the ambulance service has been revealed after a number of past and present workers spoke out to Sky News about their experiences. The women say they were pressured for sexual favours by colleagues and bosses and told they risked their jobs if they refused. A warning: this report from Sky's Rachel Venables contains sexually explicit language and descriptions of sexual harassment.
I even had the choice of which manager I could give sexual favours to.
They were obsessed with blowjobs. Everything was about them. Give me one and then I'll do this.
And he said, well, just watch back, because I could rape you.
3 women from 3 different ambulance trusts who were all proud to wear the green uniform, but who say their years in the service were marred by sexual harassment and abuse, with female workers asked for or pressured into sexual favours. Sarah, not her real name, is still a paramedic.
Say you make a mistake in protocol, you'll get someone say to you, well, I'm going to report you if you don't have sex with me. I said to the guy, well, report me. And he said, well, just watch back, because I could rape you.
Katie left the ambulance service because of its toxic culture. She says students who need older paramedics to sign off their work in order to pass are particularly vulnerable.
There were lots of men at work who would want sexual favours to pass you or sign you off, maybe on your portfolio. This one guy, actually, I worked with him and he said to me, let's go out. If we go out for drinks, I can get this signed off. And he was predatory. And I remember, my hair standing up on end.
Then, even after she'd qualified, she says her manager tried to pressure her into a relationship.
I kept turning him down, and then very soon after, he tried to get me the sack.
She says sexual favours were seen as a joke or part of the banter.
I asked for a new piece of equipment. I remember saying the suction unit on the ambulance isn't working. And then you can imagine all the comments I got. Wow, I'm sure you've got good suction. And why don't you come and sit on my lap and show me some suction and then I'll get it for you. It was just relentless. It was this power imbalance where like 3 or 4 managers in the room were all laughing.
For years, cultural reports have raised concerns about women in the ambulance service being pressured or hounded into sexual favours by their colleagues or bosses. At the start of the year, the chair of the College of Paramedics told Sky News about students being pressured by their mentors. At the heart of the problem seems to be the power imbalance in such an organisation, but also a culture in which people just don't feel comfortable or safe to speak up. It's an issue the head of the NHS whistleblowing service is determined to tackle. When it comes to women in the ambulance service being pressured into sexual favours, how widespread, how large of a problem do you think this is?
It is a big problem. It's a problem that we need to take incredibly seriously, because nobody should go to work and feel unsafe sexually. It's a matter of worker safety and well-being, but ultimately that also impacts patient safety.
Are women safe working in the ambulance service?
I'm not confident that all women are safe working in the ambulance service at the moment, no. It's not enough just to say, shock and horror, it's dreadful. We have to take, daily action. NHS England has produced a sexual safety charter with 0 tolerance for these behaviours that you've described. And what's really important, organisations are signing up to that, but it needs to not be a tokenistic signing up.
But the problem is an historic one, which seems to have been going unchecked for decades. When Janet started her career in a 3rd trust, she was told she couldn't progress onto the training course she wanted.
I mean, it became evident on a social night out that sexual favours were the way to gain entry onto emergency courses. I was horrified because I expected it to be, academic qualifications that would get me there. But I was told if you want to be guaranteed on the next course, this is what you have to do. You even had the choice of 2 different managers you could give sexual favours to.
A senior NHS spokesman called these allegations appalling and completely unacceptable, saying they expect action and dismissals against those responsible for abuse or harassment. They stressed better reporting mechanisms, training and support for staff are being brought in. But after seeing earlier Sky News investigations into harassment in the ambulance service, Sarah now plans to quit her job this year.
When the sexual harassment charter came out, a copy of it was put on the lady's bathroom cubicle door, and parts of it had been redacted. So it said, "We will not tolerate any form of sexual innuendo or harassment," but the "not" was taken out, so it would say, "We will accept any form of sexual innuendo or harassment." And a penis and 2 testicles were, drawn on it, and a woman's mouth. And it was a joke. It was a joke, and we had no one to report it to.
Soon these 3 women will all be former ambulance workers, no longer saving lives. They say because of the abusive behaviours that have gone unchecked for decades. Rachel Venables, Sky News.
Well, responding to that report, a Department of Health and Social Care spokesperson said sexual abuse or harassment in the NHS is completely unacceptable and needs to be properly investigated and punished. The government is determined to create a culture where whistleblowers are free to speak up.